I think it has been publicized adequately. We have 3,000 posts which we were seeking volunteers for, and we got 7.5 lakh applications for this. This shows the keenness of the Indian youth to join the armed forces and the Air Force in particular.
And you think the response is very good?
Yes, the response is very good. Now the big challenge lies in finishing the selection process on time so that we can start the training as we had planned in the month of December.
Sir, now we are seeing that Air Force is now going to involve more and more people in its celebrations. We are seeing that the Air Force Day parade is now moving out of Delhi to Chandigarh this year. What is the plan like, sir?
Till 2006, the Air Force Day parade used to be held at Palam, but due to the increasing air traffic, we had to shift it to Hindon. So for the last 14-15 years, it has been held regularly in Hindon. The Prime Minister's vision was to take major events out of New Delhi. So in keeping with that, and also with our own idea of showing the prowess of the Indian Air Force to the youth of the nation, we decided that we will shift the venue every year to a new location. This year we have selected Chandigarh. We shall have the parade at Chandigarh and the flying display over the city of Chandigarh. We are still deciding as to the timing, which will be based on the bird survey that we are carrying out. All these years we do the Air Force flying display at an Air Force station. So that is a very sanitized airspace. We managed to keep clear of the birds and so on. This is the first time we are going to be doing a display outside the Air Force station. So we are going to decide on the timing based on the bird activity in that area.
And this venue is going to change every year?
Every year we'll have a new venue so that more and more youth of the country get to see the prowess of the Air Force, and we take pride in showing off the capabilities of the Air Force through such displays.
Sir, one more focus area of this government has been Make in India. The Air Force has been very supportive in this direction. We have seen the contracts for LCA, LCH. What all new things are coming out in this under this initiative from the Air Force table, sir?
Firstly, let me begin by saying that we are fully in sync with the government's push for Atmanirbharta and Make in India. In the DPSUs, we've had our project management teams which have been synchronizing our efforts along with those of the industry, and the results of it has been the quick induction of platforms such as the light combat helicopter, the light combat aircraft, so many radar systems. These all have been quickly inducted because of our PMTs which are embedded with the DPSUs. Now we are making an all-out effort to reach out to the private industry and also to the MSMEs. You will be glad to know that in fact the Air Force was the first one to sign a contract under the IDEX program for the counter RPA jammer guns. So we have got a lot of plans to involve the MSMEs in our future growth, and I think the response of the Indian industry has been exemplary.
Sir, recently there was this news, we did this and I did that story, that the Predator drones, now the government is looking at buying the similar capability drone from Indian vendors. You think the Indian vendors can or Indian firms can deliver something high-tech equipment like the high-altitude, long-endurance drones with strike capabilities?
Why not? I have full confidence in the Indian industry. It may take a little longer, but definitely they will deliver. I think some industries are already into the program. They have got joint ventures with other foreign OEMs, and in fact even DRDO's program for the half-scale UCAV took to the skies just about 2 weeks ago. So all in all, I think there is enough potential within the country to manufacture this, the high altitude, long range, long endurance RPAs.
With strike capability?
With strike capability, yes.
Sir, in recent past, we have seen, like last month also, on the northern frontier, sir, there have been a lot of provocations from the Chinese Air Force, which comes close to the LAC or to the friction points, then they turn back, the Air Force has to deploy its assets. This has been happening today the talks are being held. This happened 2 days before also. The Chinese have been continuously provoking the Indian Air Force. How are we tackling this, and how have we strengthened ourselves to ensure that they are not able to do any misadventures?
See, ever since the Galwan incident in June 2020, we had started deploying our radars right from the northernmost point of the LAC all along the eastern Ladakh sector. Gradually, we integrated all these radars with our IACCS system. So, we are able to monitor the air activity across the LAC while sitting in one of our IACCS nodes. We have also bolstered the SAGW capability along the borders. We have increased the mobile observation posts along the borders, and we get a lot of inputs from the army and other agencies who are also deployed there. So the movements and the air activity across the LAC is being continuously monitored by all of us. Whenever we find that the Chinese aircraft or the RPAs are coming a little too close to the LAC, we take appropriate measures by scrambling our fighters or putting our systems on higher alert. So I think this has deterred them to quite an extent.
And any reasons which we can make out about the recent provocations they have done by coming very close to LAC or by crossing the CBM lines? Their fighter jets have been continuously doing that.
I cannot point to any particular reason why they are doing it, but like I said, we are monitoring it and we take immediate action by scrambling our fighters there.
And we have also deployed our fighters in forward locations?
Yes, our deployment continues based on the appreciation of the threat.
Sir, recent times for securing our skies from air intrusions by either missile systems or fighter aircraft, we have got the S-400 system. How has this helped the Air Force, and what is the status of the program, sir? Because there were fears that there would be delays due to the conflict going on there in Russia.
No, the induction program of the S-400 is going on as per schedule. The first firing unit has been inducted and it has been deployed as per our operational plans. The second unit is also in the process of getting inducted. So the delivery schedules are on time, and we are hopeful that by the end of next year all the deliveries will be completed.
All 5 squadrons?
Yes.
And the fear about the delays in second squadrons have proven to be incorrect.
Yes.
They are getting it. And sir, now we are seeing a very active northern front or the eastern front. We have also seen the western front is very active. And now our deployments require full attention to both the fronts. Now there were talks that they were about a two-front conflict, but that's now actually happening. We have to give full attention to both the fronts. Now, how is the Air Force prepared? Do we have enough fighter aircraft to deal with such a situation, sir?
See, the threat of multiple fronts always exists. The capabilities of the Air Force in handling two fronts at a time will necessarily have to keep getting bolstered by the induction of various platforms. On the ground, we will need more radars, we will need additional SAGW systems, and let me tell you, all these are going to come from indigenous sources, for which the action is already at hand. On the aircraft front, we are looking ahead for the AMCA and the LCA Mark 1A, and also the LCA Mark II at some few years from now. The case for 114 MRFA is also progressing well, and with this it will not only strengthen the Air Force, but it will bring a huge boost to the Indian aviation industry.
And sir, when you talk about MRFA, LCA Mark 1A, Mark II, AMCA, what is the number of aircraft that we are looking at, sir?
See, for the AMCA, we have already committed for 7 squadrons. The numbers for the LCA Mark II, we shall take a call as and when the first production model comes out and we start inducting the aircraft into the Air Force. Then we can always increase the the quantity based on its performance and the rate of production.
And we are already looking at 140. Sir, Now, recently you talked about the Air Defense Command that it may prove to be counterproductive in view of the prevailing circumstances. Now, what does it mean? What does it mean, sir? Does it mean that the Air Force doesn't want theatre command, or if you could clarify?
No, let me be very clear on this. The Air Force is all for integration and all for jointmanship at every level. We will support the theatre commands. We have made a lot of proposals as to how the structure of the theatre command should pan out. Our insistence is on 3 or 4 issues that have to be addressed. Number one, whatever command structure comes up, it should be future ready. Secondly, the levels of decision making should reduce. And thirdly, it should capitalize on the strengths of all 3 services. So whatever structure is made, as long as it meets these 3 or 4 requirements, we are good with it.
And the Air Force is supportive of the
Yes, of course. Yes, of course, we are supportive of the integration. Yes.
नमस्कार, मैं हूं मानक गुप्ता। अगर आपको हमारा ये वीडियो पसंद आया हो तो इसे लाइक और शेयर जरूर करें, और हाँ, हमें सब्सक्राइब और फॉलो करना ना भूलें ताकि आप देश और दुनिया की कोई खबर मिस ना करें। तो जुड़े रहिए हमारे साथ और देखते रहिए News24।